All right, and it says we're back. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Blame Google, blame YouTube. Ross and I are here. Ross, you can hear me?
I can hear you. Wow, man, what a crazy thing going on there.
Well, we have other solutions that we'll use. Ross is piping in through the iPhone onto the speaker here, but we'll get it taken care of for you tonight. We'll make it a rapid fire one. We won't get too crazy. Please share this as again with the faux pas on the front one on the first attempt. Obviously, a lot of people probably are not aware that this second one's going quite yet, but here we go. Ross, a South Carolina teen killed the dad and then opened fire at an elementary school. Sounds like this kid was very troubled, and he, again, at the same time that this thing was unfolding at the elementary school where he jumped the fence and started shooting. They had discovered his father had been shot. Long story short, the teen drove over to a fence at the Townville Elementary School at about 2 p.m., stepped out of the truck and fired shots at a playground during recess until a volunteer firefighter tackled him. And we'll get to him in just a minute.
From what I remember, Kevin, there were three people.
Yeah, the three injured. That's right. And 6-year-old was struck in the foot. The teacher was shot in the shoulder. And another 6-year-old was shot in the leg and listed in critical condition at the time. Again, the teen was apprehended. They found his father. They took him into custody, obviously, and he didn't kill anybody or shoot anybody else. No motive, ongoing investigation. And basically, the superintendent praised the school for its action in terms of taking care of business with an incident protocol and doing what they knew and were trained to do. So just like you and I, we used to go and it was the big deal was you stand up and you do the fire drill, at the beginning of school year, every semester. And let's see what else. So it was a firefighter, wasn't a cop. And what's interesting about that is he was completely unarmed and he saw what was going on and he ran and tackled this kid. Yep. Tackled him right away. Again, the gunman was only 14 years old. That's why we're not talking about his name, although his father's name has been released. What else?
The father being the victim.
Correct. The father's no longer with us, so he is the one that was killed in the whole incident. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Really
so I'm sure we'll find.
It's a tough one. We were talking earlier, Kevin, about how.
You got to speak to the phone, Ross, so I can get you.
Yeah, no, sorry, man. I'm trying to work that out. We were talking earlier about being 14. You know what I mean? The kid was 14 years old. You don't think about life at 14.
You don't think about the consequences of your actions.
You certainly don't.
That's for sure. Well, again, we're glad that it didn't go further. We're glad that it was taken care of quickly. Last week's show was a doozy in terms of just the amount of stories and the all the racial undertones that we were talking about, Ross. The North Carolina, again, the protests, which again they seem to remain pretty peaceful. There was one protester shot by another protester. But it wasn't madness. It wasn't, chaos. So,
yeah, I want to know what all of that accomplished. What changes were brought about by all of the. I mean, it ceased after Saturday, I think, right?
Say again?
It ceased after Saturday.
Pretty much.
The protesting and all that. But what was the turning point? What stopped them from protesting?
You tell me. It was after the weekend.
I don't know, and I can't find it anywhere. I've looked for the answer. What is it that made those guys feel like they had achieved what they came to achieve? Let me put it that way.
I don't have any answers for that question. I have no idea. In terms of the kid, in terms of the guy that was shot, check the internal, Ross. You got to go with either one headset or the other, because otherwise you're just giving me background noise.
I'm only on one, but I'm on the phone. I'm trying to be on the phone.
Are you plugged into the phone?
No, I'm not.
Plug into the phone. Get rid of the one on your head. The sound, you have that one muted, so I'm getting a lot of feedback on the phone.
All right, hold on. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Well, don't you have a headset?
I do. Hold on one second.
Yeah. All right. This is turning into a fun one. Okay, I'll go on. The other interesting thing that has come up is that Keith Scott's wife apparently had a restraining order against him and had listed the fact that he had indeed had a gun. And this goes back to part of what we were trying to talk about last week with the rise of social media and how it's gone from just a quick rumor of it was a book, it wasn't a gun, to this, to this, to this, to this. Next thing you know, you have the actual court documents come out that say that she had a restraining order and that he carried a 9mm black gun, and they now have a picture of the gun at the crime scene and a holster and a clear picture of a holster in one of the videos as well. So as all the evidence has come out, again, the guy was shot. It's another cop shooting. I'm sure there's going to be back and forth, and a lot of, lot more facts will come to surface as the court cases get underway. Ross, you good now?
Absolutely. And
Much better.
We see some prosecution there. You know what I mean?
Well, when you think about it, Ross, we've talked about this, and if a cop shoots somebody and shouldn't have shot them, they should be prosecuted. It's that simple. We've talked about the training that goes into this. It is what it is. Black, white.
If you shoot somebody and it's wrongful, you need to go to jail. I don't care if you're a cop or otherwise.
Exactly. All right, what else do we? Yeah, we got you. Can everybody else hear you? Ask the crowd there. Sorry about the technical difficulties tonight. We're gonna have to. It's weird. We're in the pre-chat on the first show, and Ross and I are fine, and everything's golden. And then as soon as I hit the live button, it was a disaster, and then it just got cut off. All right. There's another story out there. Man 20 in custody after a fatal shooting of 5 people in a mall outside of Seattle. Let's go to the video on this one. Oops. Apologize. I need like a production assistant, Ross. I think we'd be much more effective. Here we go.
Yeah, no doubt.
This one starts with no audio, and then the comes in on the
I saw an individual walking northbound
Press
on
conference
the
here.
sidewalk, and I instantly recognized that is the person I just viewed on my computer. I did an abrupt U-turn, hit my lights, pulled my gun, and took the individual into custody.
It wasn't all at once. It was more like a shot, and then 2 seconds later, another shot. I heard about 1, and then 2, and then that's when I turned around, and then that's when round started going 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. So crazy, crazy.
At about 7 p.m. last night, officers were dispatched to an active shooter inside of the Macy's store at the Cascade Mall inside the Burlington city limits. Officers from over 26 agencies responded to Macy's. We had upwards of 200 officers on scene at one time. The initial officers that arrived on scene entered Macy's, where they located 4 deceased females, and a 5th male was transported by helicopter to Seattle Hospital.
Wow. So we've got another mall shooting. This one's in Seattle. They've got this guy says that he listed on his Facebook page. His hometown was Adana, Turkey, but he graduated.
What we know
is
that this train came in.
Oh, we went straight to Chris Christie and the train wreck. Went to the local high school, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on to talk about some of his characteristics. And again, none of this has really been confirmed. This is the New York Times page. However, they talk about how he was sexually aggressive towards girls and grabbed them and did this and that, was kind of known for that. But also, thought he was annoying, funny, nasty, etc. But the guy went into a mall and started shooting people. Once again, where's the story? There was another interesting thing about this story. He went to the cosmetics department and shot the 4 girls. There was something in here about the motive earlier, Ross. We talked about it. Sorry, here we go. Sorry, we're gonna call this maybe the worst show of all time, Ross, because that page just went blank on me. I'm not even kidding you. The New York Times page just went blank on me. I'll get it back up.
I think you need to hold me up to the mic or something. That'd be scary.
Is that better? Say something now.
Just wondering if everybody can hear me out there. We'll see.
This was what it was. The motive, they don't know about the motive, but he did go into a gun store locally and tried to buy a .45 caliber handgun. And the clerk at the store immediately said, no dice. Thought he was suspicious and thought there was something off about him and said no. And then informed him more that he was going to get a background check, whether he bought it there or at a gun store or anything else. I mean, at a swap meet or a local gun show, because he started asking questions. That father told him that he had a 10/22, but
I'd say good for her that she was aware enough to.
you muted yourself.
So my mic is working.
Now your mic is working.
That's very weird, man. This is the weirdest damn thing ever.
All right, I'm gonna turn off the phone.
Interesting.
This just means that we have to have a really great show next week, which is cool.
God, this is so frustrating. Can't apologize enough to everybody.
No, but now it's perfect.
Yeah, now it's perfect. Boom, we're back.
All right. So anyway, the dad said he had a gun. They didn't find a gun. He couldn't get a gun. He went to the store to get the 45, and shout out to the gun store that told him no dice.
Right, and that the gal who refused to serve him, man. That's exactly what those guys are there to do. You know what I mean? I mean they're not there to be, Hitler, but they have a responsibility to, shady people need to be denied.
Hashtag worst show ever, but I give you my word, the next 25 minutes will be pretty good.
Yeah, we finally got this shit figured out.
Pretty good. All right. Let's do, where are we? We got 2 more stories and then we'll tell you how you might be able to win a Glock. How about that? That's kind of enticing. That's kind of cool, I think. On Controversial Times, a very angry penned article about a high school that orders a 5-hour psychological evaluation for a student after his pro-gun rights assignment. Check this out. A high school in Manville, New Jersey a high school senior in Manville, New Jersey was suspended for producing a project that had clear anti-gun control thesis. His suspension was just the start. After seeing the project, administrators ordered him to undergo a psychological exam. Even worse, the psych eval had to be completed before he would be allowed back in the class.
That's unbelievable.
Could it get any more absurd? Of course. Harvey's topic was actually assigned to him, according to him. His instructor had asked for a video that created an argument in opposition of gun control. The video he produced shows examples of firearms, people using firearms to defend themselves. It also used political cartoons and basically satirized the arguments of gun control proponents. He made a very classic mistake, though, Ross. And this is, I guess, the lesson of the night. He compiled all the research on a thumb drive, and then he accidentally left the thumb drive behind in the school's library. Another student found it.
Oops.
and turned it over the material to the administration. The administration, deeply concerned that a student might be examining all sides of an issue, contacted police, according to Controversial Times. And then they go on, the police in Manville, many of whom do carry firearms, cleared Harvey of any wrongdoing, that is, sent the school administrators into a state of panic. Basically, he did what he was told. You may wonder where the teacher fits in. The teacher is having memory issues. He can't recall giving the kid the specific assignment.
Seems like your unreasonable search and seizure. I mean, I know he's not a cop, but
the kid was a senior, decided not to kowtow the school's demands, and has withdrawn and is pursuing a GED. Good for him. Well, I can't believe he had to go through that. That's not cool at all.
I bet you it built some character, though.
Yeah, right. All right, guns.com. Houston lawyer wore Nazi emblem during the shooting. You brought this one to my attention.
I sure did. I brought it to your attention more because of the quote in here that said, I'll have to find it again, but the gist of it was, we're not jumping to any conclusions, but the guy was wearing historical military uniform with Nazi emblems all over it as he took shots at people in that parking lot.
What does he have to do? Face paint a flag on his face in order to show his allegiance these days for people to pick up a clue? It's like the police show up, the Keystone Cops. He's got all this evidence and all these insignia on him. Like, wait, hold on, that doesn't mean anything. Come on.
And Kevin, what really makes this strange is that in any other climate, they would jump all over this as a white hate crime, unless it happens in a period of time where we're trying to be very acceptant of, just because he's got just because he shouted this or that, he's X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? I think it's transference of that acceptance.
Come on now. No, the Allah Akbar stuff that we've been talking about over the last 2-3 years. I mean, this is, when someone shouts that out, it's pretty clear alliance and allegiance to, again, a militant Islamic terrorist group. Guy comes in and has Nazi insignia on him, starts yelling different things, Ross. I mean, we don't know what he yelled. Interesting enough, what was also interesting about this is I didn't hear about it, and I guess the reason we didn't hear about it, A, is because we missed a couple websites, but is no one died. It was just a bunch of people that got hurt.
Yeah.
However, this guy had a 45 cal Tommy gun in his car with 2,600 rounds of ammo. He had a gun, had a knife on him, and they say that there was about 75 shell casings that was fired from both the gunman and the police because the police showed up and neutralized the situation. More weapons at his house. And
it would be really nice to know what's going on in these guys' heads when they do stupid stuff like that. I mean, it's almost like...
Ross, look deeper. Look deeper. Look in the chat, but look deeper.
Mm-hmm.
What's the setup? He bought the guns legally. He's got his permit. Now, I mean, anyone looks at a round count of 2,600 has to say, wait a minute. What is this guy doing?
But are you you're not insinuating that they can confer from this that legal CCW holders that have a lot of ammunition are dangerous? I mean, what are we inferring from dig deeper? That's my question.
I'm saying, again, he shows up with Nazi emblems. He's got these things. He's a lawyer who had issues with his law firm. They've confirmed that as well. There you go. Criminal business and family law.
Or did he just get sick and tired of the grind and been like, shit, man, prison would be easier. Let me go pop off a bunch of rounds, get tackled by the cops, and spend 10 years in jail. I can't say that during the hard times that shit hasn't crossed my mind. Not that particular scenario,
His
but
12-year partnership. I don't know where you're going with that. His 12-year partnership dissolved earlier this year, and they're saying that's the most likely motive.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Sometimes it's just easy to have your three squares provided for you.
Come on. All right, who wants to win a Glock these days? I would say probably everyone wants to win a pistol. This is how easy it is. I'm going to go here and do it. You go over to big3east.com, go to the right. You're going to get some correspondence, but let's do that. The Tech Daddy at gmail.com. That's how fast I type. Subscribe. Bam, I'm in. That's how easy it is. Go on over there, subscribe today, and you will win a chance to win a Glock. Pretty easy.
I'm looking forward to winning it.
Speaking of, you think you might win?
No, I never win those things. I couldn't win a raffle if I was the only contestant.
That's the only way you'd win a win a raffle. Speaking of Big Three, we'll be there next week. Looking forward to that. Should be a good time. We'll be doing the live show, obviously, on Thursday night from there. We'll give away the Lanzang barrel, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure you're subscribed to Gun News Weekly, and you'll be in for a couple of the different giveaways. Could be an interesting show, Ross.
Hey.
What was last time? I know the mics will work because we'll be side by side for sure.
Oh, dude, I'm so looking forward to that. I cannot wait to leave on Tuesday. I am like, I'm itching. It's been a long week for work. It couldn't come at a better time, man.
Right on. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
Bring your video camera skills. We'll be making some videos, putting out some good content, talking to a lot of people, seeing old friends, eating some good barbecue.
Yeah.
Big 3 East. Hashtag Big 3 East, Big 3 East Media. I have to confirm my subscription. All right. Schwell from the Big 3 East has our question of the week. And let's go to that right now because I think this is going to spark a conversation between you and I because we got into this before.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, Donald Trump made mention of being able to void or to eliminate people's Second Amendment rights based on their appearance on the secret no-fly list, the secret list generated by the government, NSA, FBI, CIA, ATF, whomever. Now, we know Hillary is anti-Second Amendment. We know she's anti-gun. She always has been and always will be. Trump, I'm not so sure about. His history tells me one thing. The things that come out of his mouth tell me another thing. And my gut feeling tells me something completely different. But how do you guys feel about this situation? Based on national security, do you think anyone who is placed on one of these secret no-fly lists should have their Second Amendment rights taken away from them? Should they not be allowed to purchase firearms or anything else that is covered by the Second Amendment? That's the question for this week. Feel free to comment, but also be a part of the discussion Thursday nights at 9 p.m. on Gun News Weekly. Hope you're all out there having fun, being safe, and also being responsible. And I hit you with the 2 fingers. Later.
I think he was wearing a Jets jersey.
Looks like it.
I don't think the Jets
Thank
are
you,
doing.
Schwell.
I don't think the Jets are doing too good. Redskins finally won a game, but okay. Anyway, question of the week. Question of the week. No fly, no buy. I got into some major trouble. Well, not trouble. I got into some major issues with people over this question in the past, Ross. We talked about this. I said, if we know now, go watch that Snowden video, that Snowden movie, or go, again, watch the 20-minute one with him talking to the guy on Vice. We know, or we can pretty much agree, that we have the data. We know who the bad guys are. We know who the really bad guys are. I still hold firm on answering this question by saying I have a problem with the no-fly list because there is no ascertainable way to find out who's on it, why you're on it, who's coming, when you get off, how you get off. There's nothing. If we were to create an agreed upon interagency, everyone is agreeing that these are the bad guys and they're not American citizens. You can't really buy a gun if you're not a citizen anyway. But these guys could be American citizens, and it's not they're prohibited from buying, but they go through an additional layer of protection, whatever that may be, that everyone agrees to. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think you're taking away their Second Amendment right. You're saying to them, you have characteristics that in today's world we see as a potential problem, a bad one. Go ahead, Ross.
You're killing me, bro.
I'm sorry.
If you're an American citizen, that nobody should be able to think that you're incapable of exercising your rights under the Constitution, not
If
man-given
you've been
rights,
put
but God-given
hold on.
rights.
If you've been put on a list that the law enforcement agencies of this country deem you as one of the worst of the worst.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because the political climate dictates who or who does not get put on the list. And I'm going to go to extremes, and I'm going to use two moderate candidates to achieve these extremes. Hillary Clinton wants all us gun-owning, meat-eating, Bible-thumping right-wingers put on a list. Donald Trump wants all the tree-hugging hippies on the list. So does that mean that those guys don't get to exercise their rights? What about their First Amendment right? If they're criminals, do they not get
I didn't say that either of them get to make the list. The list is the issue with most people. But I also think that
the
most
list is created by agencies.
If a guy lives here and goes back and forth to terrorist countries on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, but he was born here and he's a citizen, you don't think he should have to go through an extra layer of protection before he goes into a gun store and buys whatever the hell he wants to buy?
I think if it's that obvious, Kevin, we should have a team of FBI agents that are watching him and his people, bugging the shit out of them, doing all the shit they do to us anyway, and they ought to be able to stop the damn crime before it happens. The problem is that if you haven't committed a crime, then there's nothing to prosecute you on. It's a thought. It's a feeling, and that feeling can change with political wins, with time, with acceptance, with social justice, with the mass. And we are not a representative mass. You know what I mean? We can't just say that if a majority of us don't like what you're doing, that it all of a sudden becomes not okay. You just can't do that. There has to be.
All right. What about if the guy had emigrated from Turkey with him when his mother when he was a child, but now he's a permanent legal resident of the U.S.?
Is he naturalized? Is he a citizen?
He's a national. He is a permanent legal resident of the U.S. who emigrated from Turkey with his mother when he was a child.
Is he a citizen? Did he naturalize?
I don't have that information right here.
If he is not a citizen, he is not granted our rights under the American Constitution. Only citizens are afforded the Second Amendment, First Amendment,
Well, again,
Third
we know
Amendment.
we know that he was stopped at the gun store before he went on the rampage at the mall.
Well, that was because of the way he was acting, and anybody has the right to refuse, regardless of what the government would like to tell our bakers. Everybody has the right to refuse service. No shoes, no shirt, no service. Sorry, get out. Not everybody has the right to say, sorry, you cannot buy a gun, period.
Well, he was 20 years old, too. Does that add something to the mix? Don't you have to be 21 to buy a pistol?
Oh, yeah, you sure do. How the hell did that happen? Did he think he was going to get away with buying it at 20?
The owner said that he was 20 and that. Well,
I gotta find that gun show loophole thing. Maybe it says it in there that you can buy.
This is in the Seattle Times crime section. If people want to read up more on this, let's move on. Sorry.
No problem.
All right, couple things to keep aware of, just in the general, again, fight to be able to have this. You know, I had a guy come to the house today to do some repair on. Long story short, and guy from Cuba immigrated. I think he said 8 years ago, and I was wearing a shirt that had a rifle on it. And he looked at me at one point. He goes, "I like the AR-15." I said, "Yeah, me too." And I asked him about where he was from. He said Cuba, and I said, "Yeah, I guess you don't get to have the guns in Cuba." He said, No, that's not an option. And then later in the day when he was leaving, he waved me over to his car when I was grabbing my mail, and he said, "We do everything right here now that we have the right to." And he showed me his concealed carry permit. And I thought about that for a second. I was like, that's ultimately, what we're talking about here, the right to be an American citizen and have that. So again, this guy doesn't break any laws, takes care of business. But now the story here, kind of a transition, not really. Giffords Gun Control PAC kicks off national tour in Orlando. That happened today. Basically, Gabby Gifford and her husband are on they've launched something called the Vocal Majority Campaign. It's a project there for them for responsible solutions to, quote, mobilize millions of Americans to make the 2016 election a referendum on gun control. A referendum on gun violence prevention, and to support leaders up and down the ballot who are committed to taking responsible steps that reduce gun violence. God, that sounds so smooth the way they put it.
You know, that ties right into that. We were talking about that Nevada story about the Nevada Wildlife Commission. And the only reason I bring that up is because they say common sense, right? They say common sense gun reform. Sorry, cat got up there. And then Nevada comes out with this new law. And you don't mind if I sidestep here, do you, Kevin?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go right
this new Nevada law that says that not only can you not use large caliber handgun or rifle rounds over 3-inch shell length, but then you can't use a tracking point, and they're trying to outlaw tracking point in hunting, which is the most ethical, the most likely kill, the less suffering of animals, enables the disabled to hunt, attracts youth to hunting, fewer hunters and bystanders killed or wounded by people not hitting their target. And yet these states want to outlaw these things that it just doesn't make any sense. What exactly are you trying to say when you say common sense gun laws?
I think they're saying common sense amongst the think tank thought project that is them and the people who think like they do.
But
if you have no good,
if you have half a brain and have at least this much common sense, you can think for yourself and see that, no, I will not. Although we are going to outlaw the use of super accurate hunting devices. Yeah, so we want to make that more unsafe, less safe for the hunters, less safe for other hunters in the field. It just makes no sense.
Well, I guess enough time has passed that now it's acceptable to use the Pulse nightclub for your advantage in political gain, because once again, they clearly just stated what their mission was, correct?
Yeah, they did.
Excuse me, I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's the mission. It goes on in their release statements, quote, the 49 LGBTQ people and allies who lost their lives in Orlando nearly 4 months ago were brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, friends and neighbors, husbands and wives. This is why they chose to go to Orlando to start their campaign, Ross. Quote, but above all, they were human beings who were loved, who had hopes and dreams for long and full lives. And they were murdered simply because of who they are and because it is too easy in America today for a dangerous person to buy a dangerous weapon. This is the Human Rights Campaign chairman, Chad Griffin, who said this during Tuesday's rally. Quote, this November, we need to elect candidates up and down the ballot who not only stand up for the equal dignity of the LGBTQ community, but also stand up for our right to live and love free from fear and violence. So now they are connecting your ability to live as a free, to have free sexual choice of what you'd like to do in this world, to the ability to be safe and not have fear or violence in your world or bestow itself upon you. Shout out to everybody that's watching on the channel. We appreciate it. Please share this one. Once again, it was kind of a clusterfuck tonight, if you will. Not kind of. It was a complete one at the beginning, but seems like we're back on track, Ross. Last 20 minutes have been good.
Yep, it has been.
I think. So anyway, this is something I want people to be aware of. They're coming to a town near you. Actually, guess where they're coming, Ross? To the battleground states. The battleground states. The states where they want to get this out in front of everybody. So that Bloomberg money is at work. No two ways about it.
You know, the good news is on the political and on the activism side of things, it seems to me like the general public is finally, or at least more of them are finally coming to light with the fact that these are scare tactics, that They want to erode our rights, and they're starting to understand. I think a majority of the sheeple are starting to understand that their rights are extremely important. I've even seen a change in the millennial structure. You know what I mean? It seems like we're seeing more.
I haven't.
I'm starting to see the shift, dude. At least where I'm at in the country, I'm starting to see a shift of more gun curious. Let's just put it that way.
I watched Survivor Generation X against the millennials the other night, and I'm terrified of the millennials. They're so out of touch, Ross.
The Hollywood millennials are going to end up killing the country, but we'll get into that another day.
All right, you remember the last Olympics? Our Olympian Kim Road took a bronze medal and became the first woman to medal in 6 straight Olympics, and we talked about her.
Yep, and how amazing it is that we haven't heard of her before this current Olympics, considering her history.
She hasn't been a mainstream Olympian hero or superstar much like many of the little girls who get to run and jump and flip and do stuff like that. They're much more marketable, Hollywoodable, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, she's out and doing her best because, as we discussed, we said, wait a minute, if they pass that ammo ban and these people that live in California are training for this stuff, what are they going to do? Well, here's her video that's out. It's a quick one. Let's take a look.
As a 6-time Olympic medalist, I know it takes hard work to achieve success. For me, it also takes over 800 rounds of ammunition daily. If Gavin Newsom has his way, it'll make it incredibly hard to keep up my skills. It's a fact, harsh gun laws like Prop 63 are not the answer. They only hurt law-abiding people and do nothing to stop terrorists. Prop 63 takes away the rights of tens of thousands of gun owners across California. Say no to Newsom, say no to Prop 63.
There you go. So we want to support that effort. Prop 63. If you're in California, make sure that you the thing that popped up on the videos is not appropriate for the air. I'm glad I hit that button in time.
So let me just stress, considering what we've talked about tonight,
Yes, sir.
that laws only criminalize or only stop law-abiding people from breaking the law. Criminals have no fear. Criminals have no fear of breaking the law. So why in the world are we writing laws like this? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense.
That's the common sense part that doesn't make sense to me. So I agree with you.
That's the root. That's the root of it. And it's totally illogical. Like, oh, we're going to make all these laws so that criminals don't break the law.
So is it the globalists that want to go over it and take over the one last nation in the world where you're free to have firearms and protect yourself and your castle?
They do. We all know it. Why would they be doing it otherwise? Think about that for a second. Why are we making laws in the first place to stop criminals from doing criminal activity so that we can hold back the law-abiding population, which is much larger than the criminal population, depending on where you live?
Let's go around the country real quick. I got a few quick stories here, including the ones promised from D.C. and Maryland. Portland, Maine. Basically, a restaurant owner shocked by the reactions after she banned AR-owning customers. If you own this gun or you condone the ownership of this gun for private use, she says, you may no longer enter either of my restaurants because the only thing I want to teach my children is love. Grace owner Ann Vero wrote in a Facebook post along with a picture of an assault rifle, which she said was only designed for, quote, military use, and to own one, or any gun for that matter, is not, quote, biological in nature.
Ugh.
She made the decision. She put it out there. She had an incredible backlash because, once again, it's social media, and you can do whatever you want right now because you're really not held accountable, even for hate. And she got quite a backlash and wasn't ready for it. Let's go over to D.C. D.C. reversed the ban on tasers after the court challenge.
Yay.
So
it's something. It's a crumb. We'll take it.
They need something in D.C. to protect themselves, Ross. They can't have guns there. It's crazy.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hey, we know firsthand.
You know, I can't imagine doing business because a lot of people don't realize Maryland, Virginia, D.C. D.C. is this diamond in the
2
middle.
by 2.
And you have to go through it to get to places, and you can go around it on the Beltway, but a lot of times you skirt. I can't imagine obeying the different laws of Maryland and DC while living in Virginia and having to go to, like, maybe again a call, a business call, a business meeting, anything in the counties that don't allow. Must be nuts. However, when I was growing up, Salisbury was the place that you went through to get to Ocean City. Shout out to G. Shout out to G and the Green Dragon crew. But now, and again, it was the place where there was another Maryland state school. Salisbury State's there. But now, city officials in Maryland are considering banning replica guns at a meeting next week as a way to prevent police shootings of children carrying BB guns, pellet guns, and other resembling firearms. Salisbury City Councilman Muir Boda said he didn't want to wait for a statewide ban that may never come and thinks it's an issue of public safety, not gun rights. He said, quote, "We're seeing kids around the country getting killed because police think they have real guns. They don't have time to figure out if they're a real gun or not."
Yeah, because that 6-year-old looks threatening. That 8-year-old looks threatening. I mean, come on, man.
Salisbury is about 120 miles southeast of Baltimore, for the reference.
It's just horrible. I mean, they're coming after everything, Kevin. They're coming after BB guns. They've already gone after the airsofters. It's sickening, man. It really is sickening. Like we're not adult enough to take care of ourselves. We need somebody to wipe our nose and scrub our butt, man. It's disgusting. These people need to back the hell off. That's just all there is to it.
What up, G? Thanks for watching, brother. You're right, Ross. G says, "What's up?"
What's up,
yeah,
G?
it's ridiculous. That would mean that his kids could potentially get in trouble for running around on a hot summer afternoon, shooting each other with super soakers and things like that. Because that's where it'll go. It won't just end with BB guns.
BB guns are dangerous. I've got a son that has had accidents with BB guns. We all know that. But you know what, man? He's going to learn important lessons from the accidents he has with these. Yeah, they're dangerous, but they're not lethal, right?
It's Ross. What they're trying to protect is the cops from shooting them, thinking that it's a real gun. That's what he's trying to prevent.
That's bullshit. That's total bullshit. If you come up across a 12-year-old kid, are you really going to lay him down, dude? I mean, like, cop out your car and not even talk to the kid and lay him down?
Ross, we've covered this story. There's the link to this. Where was the one? There was one in, I think it was, I thought it was Ohio. Here you go. In the wake of a 2013 shooting of a 13-year-old carrying a pellet gun, police believe to be an AK-47. California enacted a law in January, and we're buying all replicas have fluorescent markings. We remembered how that came into be.
But do you honestly believe that these cops had no fault at all?
No. We had that. Oh, gosh.
Had the rifle discharged? Was there a problem? I remember one of these kids had a hearing issue. Was that true?
No, it was, again, the kid was in the park and the cops jumped out of the car and started shooting him because they saw the gun.
The cops are way out of line in that situation. You don't take away the toy because the cop is a dumbass.
But the cop would think that it's a real gun, Ross. That's a real concern. It's got to be.
Yeah, come on, dude. But apparently a book can look like a gun. Or
no, you look at that picture I just sent you. Those look like real badass. And you know what these replica guns look like. You can go into a Herman's or a Sports Authority and go over and look at what those air pistols look like. They look like... Hold on.
Kevin, there should be something that says that the gun has to have been... I mean, first of all, the gun... I don't know. It's a complex situation. I'll give you that.
You want me to go grab my other...
You don't ban
M&P? You want me to go grab my other real M&P and show you how close it looks to this? It looks exactly like this. Now, this one has the white Yeti on it. So
Does it have an orange tip on it?
No, but that looks like a real freaking gun right now. And if a kid walked outside and started holding it around and the cops showed up, you don't think they would question that that's a real gun?
I think the cops need to have ways not to just see a gun and start shooting at the bastard. You know what I mean? There's got to be a training deficiency there. They have the cover of vehicles. They could put themselves behind cover until they can make contact. I mean, good God, man. And of course, I don't want to second guess the cops. But when you start taking the toys out of kids' hands because you're scared your officers are going to make a mistake, then you got a bigger problem than the fucking toy. Sorry. Whew.
Hey, no, I'm getting comments that they are enjoying you and me yelling at each other. So go right ahead.
It's just unbelievable, dude. You're taking the toys out of kids'
There it is.
hands.
I found it. Tamir Rice. That was the one. I'm sorry for everybody because anyone that knows me knows that my memory bank. 2014 Cleveland Police. That's at Ohio. That's what I thought it was. 12-year-old Tamir Rice after mistaking his airsoft replica for a pistol. You can look up that video. You can see that they just rolled up and jumped out and started shooting. I don't know, Ross. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe in today's world, kids should be using those types of things inside, laser tag and inside areas where we know that that's what they're doing in there.
Kevin,
then you're gonna have some gym filled with kids running around with guns. Oh my gosh!
All I'm gonna say to you is every single one of those cap guns we got as kids looked like a flippin' revolver, and no kids got shot because they pulled out their little flippin' ass cap gun and started popping off around Cap. It didn't happen.
But no cops rolled up on us and got no one called the police and said, "Hey, there's kids outside with real guns." And
so
that's
what is the problem? It's not the toy.
All right.
Just saying, brother. Hate to be the hardliner there, but
well, no, I'm assuming this is going to be the question of the week next week.
Yeah,
should replica guns be banned? Should replica guns be banned in your area to protect the police from shooting the kids? On next week's
that is absolute insane.
Let's wrap this up.
It's insane logic.
We'll argue more next week. The Boston Tribune says that a woman with a concealed carry permit saved multiple lives after stopping a department store shooter. This was 37-year-old Lisa Harris saves the multiple lives after stopping a department store shooter in Virginia, according to witnesses. 41-year-old Randall Pierce was the shooter. He entered the department store Saturday evening at approximately 5:15. He was walking briskly throughout the store for 6 minutes prior to retrieving a .223 AR-15 assault-style rifle concealed under his long jacket. The security footage has yet to be revealed, but he fired for the first time at 5:16, like I said, 16 minutes later. Lisa Harris retrieved her .45 cal Kimber Ultra Raptor handgun from the concealed carry holster and made her way down an adjoining aisle. She approached from the rear and fired her weapon a total of 4 times, striking the department store shooter in the back, head, and right leg. Police did not realize Harris was behind him and immediately dropped his weapon and collapsed on the floor among being shot.
I totally commend that woman for her bravery and her wherewithal to put at least three of the 4 shots into that guy. That's no easy task.
Guess what sign was up outside of the department store?
No guns. She's going to get sued. I know.
No Berettas. She's safe. She's safe.
I've used that line before.
Anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what they.
I heard she's getting sued though, Kevin. They are going to sue her.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah.
Here we go. All right, 1 or 2 more. I got one more here. Let's watch this video of the week that we missed last week, Ross. Did you see this? I'm sure you saw it because it's got 22 million views on Facebook. But in Georgia, this is the one of, you can see chaos because a woman defends her home. 3 armed home invasion suspects. 1 was killed, and they're trying to identify the other 2. Running this way. She's firing. She's got that one-handed shooting down.
Yes, she does.
A little limp wristed on that last one. Oh, she's out.
And she calmly calls the cops. I love that.
Should be reloading right there.
I didn't see her do
like a 360. Here's the other angle. Here's the other angle. What's crazy is the one guy runs right in. Runs right in front of her. Watch this. That guy right. Hold on. It's not those two. It's this guy that's coming. Watch this. He runs right. This guy coming from the right, Ross. Look at that. He's right in front of her. And she doesn't get out. She's in between shots, basically. And concentrated on the two people as he crosses right in front of her. That's crazy video.
That is nuts.
And lastly, the feds.
Hey, hold on. Let's pause on that one real quick. Let's pause on that.
Yeah.
Look at the size of that little girl.
She's
Look
not
at
huge.
the size of those three dudes. Tell me she had a chance without the gun.
Not if they're armed and they're coming into her house to take care of business. You know what I mean?
Kevin, what if they just had their hands? Tell me if she didn't have that gun, she wouldn't have been severely injured.
If they wanted to do her harm, if more than one person wants to do somebody harm, they can make that happen in most cases.
Yes, sir. That gun, that's what saved her life.
Yep. All right. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for everybody for putting up with us tonight. We appreciate it. Once again, off to a rough start, but we made it happen. Got through that. Make sure you stay tuned next week. We'll be live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Big three, baby.
We'll be doing some stuff on Facebook as well. And real quick, anybody that's in Florida that can help out the Veteran Cause of the Week is the Military Outreach Program. Twice a year, my daughter goes and helps coordinate basically taking a bunch of different supplies and individualizing them for distribution amongst our troops overseas. And right now, I've got the list that she gave me. If anyone's interested in helping, please PM me either on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm sorry. Yeah, Facebook or Instagram is probably the easiest way to PM me. But they're looking for I'm going to stay away from the food stuff. But they are looking for things like small games, crossword puzzles, lip balm, pens, pencils, pads of notebooks, boot socks, white or brown only, Christmas CDs or DVDs, Christmas cards or letters, both to them and blank so they can send, decks of cards, lots of food stuff, but I don't want to get into the food stuff because then you get into stuff that spoils. Adult coloring books, colored pencils, small hot sauce or packets of hot sauce. We can support hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
I bet you they would want coffee too. Speaking of coffee, shout out. Make sure you go get your Arctic Cerakoted, Ross.
Tell me those aren't badass mugs.
We're going to put it to the test next week in the heat because I think it'll probably be hot. The drink's still cold. So the cold test is being passed as we speak. I've heard they're pretty great in terms of keeping your coffee hot as well. Shout out to Head Down. Shout out to Misty. And again, we'll be putting together a pretty badass Brody backpack bag is on its way. And I think we'll probably get that pretty filled up this next week, Ross.
Looking forward to it.
All right, cool. Shout out to everybody over at Gun Channels. We appreciate you tuning in there as well. And thanks to L2D Combat, Key Bar, Grizzly Targets. We'll be seeing the boys from Lanzang Tactical. Wanted to say hello to them as well tonight. Thanks to Frank and everybody that's made this whole thing possible. Make sure you go check out TacDaddy.com. Lots of great stuff on there. Lots of great holsters. That's really what is the number one seller over. There's Nate Squared Tactical Holsters. If you've never tried one of those inside the waistband, make sure you try them out. Check out Everyday Carry Life as well, where you can get things like key bars. Ross, we're done.
Wow, man, that went by really quick. Of course, a little bit of a hiccup early on, but just want to thank everybody who stuck with us. Thanks everybody for coming on tonight and making that chat happen. We'll try to get it up on Gun Channels tomorrow. They're DF. We'll get it going next time. So
cool. Talk to you soon. Thanks again for everybody and tuning in. And we wanted to dedicate this one to the fallen baseball player in Miami and one of the greatest golfers of all time. You'll both be missed in different ways. And you've touched many lives, even the young guy down here in Miami. Man, crazy to see it all. And we'll dedicate this one to them. Till then, till Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Gun News Weekly. Make sure you check out Inspire over on Facebook. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.